All right, for today's explainer, we are diving deep into a story that mixes two things a lot of us are familiar with: late night study sessions and just pure, absolute terror. This isn't some old-timey legend. It's a first-person account of a ghostly run-in at the Eden Hill Library, and we're going to break down exactly what makes it so chillingly effective.
But first, I want you to think about something. Imagine you are completely alone. Maybe you're in a big empty house or a quiet office late at night. What is the sound that would just make your heart stop? A floorboard creak? A whisper? Just hold that thought.
And the story kicks off with this simple sentence. Right away, this isn't some once-upon-a-time fairy tale. The narrator pulls us in by telling us, hey, this is real, and it happened to me. It gives the whole thing this immediate, uncomfortable sense of reality.
Okay, so every great horror story needs a perfect setup, right? So let's get into part one, the setup, and see how the stage gets set for a night that goes horribly, horribly wrong. So check out this timeline. It shows just how fast things go from totally normal to, well, not. Our narrator gets there at 6 p.m., just trying to cram for finals like any other student. But by 10 p.m., he's lost track of time, and that peaceful quiet has turned into a deep, unnerving silence. He is completely alone. And then, at 10:15, that silence breaks. And this is the sound that breaks the silence. It's not a jump scare scream, not a sudden bang. It's something way creepier. A slow, rhythmic limp. Just think about that for a second. It's purposeful, it sounds human, but wrong. Who would be limping around a locked library this late? The mystery starts right here.
All right, so the seed of mystery is planted. Now we move into the second part, the rising action, where that initial creepiness escalates into pure fear, all because our narrator decides to make a run for it. So what does he do? He does what any of us would do. He bolts. But as you can see, he's just jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire. He escapes the library only to find himself in a long, dark, empty hallway. And that's when his heart really drops, because he's not alone. And there it is. Just a simple sentence, but man, is it terrifying. A woman, standing way down at the other end of the hall. Is she the source of the sound? Maybe. But the not knowing is what makes this so tense. He has no idea what he's looking at, but his instincts are screaming at him. He calls out. It's that classic horror movie moment. You know, the one where we're all yelling at the screen, "Don't do that, just run." But it's such a human thing to do, isn't it? You try to find a logical reason for what's happening, even when every part of you knows there isn't one. And this is the moment, the one where everything changes. She doesn't reply, she doesn't turn and walk away, she just vanishes. Gone. Right then, our narrator knows for sure. This isn't a late-night custodian. This is something else entirely. You'd think getting outside would be a relief, right? Wrong. The nightmare follows him out the door. Just look at this. On a normal night, the streets would be busy. On this night, completely empty. The world that should have been his safe space is now just as silent and wrong as the school was. There's nowhere to run. Just when you think it can't get any weirder, it does. He's walking, probably trying to catch his breath, and he sees a shadow moving on the ground towards him. But when he whips around, there's no one there. Nothing to cast it. Whatever this thing is, it's not just in the school anymore. It's with him. And it doesn't care about the rules of reality. Okay, this brings us to the absolute peak of the story. Part 3, the climax. This is the face-to-face moment where all that tension and dread finally pays off, and it is horrifying. He looks up, and there she is. Not at the end of a hall, but right there. And now he can see the details. And the details are just chilling. The clothes are ragged and dirty. Her hair's a mess. But it's these 2 points. Her hands and feet are twisted at impossible angles, and she has that same slow, difficult limp. It's her. All the pieces are falling into place in the worst way possible. And then, after all that creepy silence, she speaks. And she asks this one simple, heartbreaking, and absolutely terrifying question. See, this isn't some monster roaring at him. It's something so much more complex. This question just flips the whole encounter on its head. So let's just stop for a second. Seriously, Put yourself right there on that empty street. This impossible figure is standing in front of you, asking for help. What do you do? What can you do? Do you run, scream, try to answer her? And our guy does what I think most of us would. He just freezes. Total panic. His mind goes blank, and his only instinct, his only thought is make it go away. So he just points, anywhere, far away, just so she'll leave. It's pure primal fear. You'd think that's the end of it, right? He got away. But the story is far from over. In our last section, the explanation, we finally get the piece of the puzzle that turns this random, terrifying night into something so much more. A local legend. So he's running for his life, heart pounding in his chest, and then he hears one last thing carried on the wind. A scream from the direction he pointed, but it's not an angry scream. It sounds joyful, a scream of discovery. She is here. What in the world could that mean? He actually blacks out from sheer terror and is found by a neighbor. And it's only when he comes to that he finds out this wasn't just some random ghost. He had a run-in with a known local legend, the ghost of Agatha, a spirit tied to those very school grounds. And here is her tragic story. The legend says back in 1998, a woman named Agatha lost her 10-year-old daughter in a terrible accident at the school. Now her spirit, trapped by a grief so powerful it defies death itself, just wanders, searching. And suddenly, it all starts to make a horrible kind of sense. The limp, the question, the school, it all clicks. And that's the real twist, isn't it? This knowledge, it reframes everything. It's not just a monster story anymore. It's this profoundly tragic tale of a mother's endless, hopeless search. The fear doesn't go away, but now it's mixed with this deep, gut-wrenching sadness. Which leaves us all with one final haunting question to chew on. Remember that last scream? She is here! In his blind panic, did our narrator accidentally point Agatha in the right direction? And if so, what happens next? What happens when a ghost that has been searching for decades finally finds what it's looking for? I'll let you think about that one.